my fellow book gags, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today I am finally getting a chance to talk about Empower by Jessica Shirvington, and this is the last book in the Violet Ennin Chronicles. Now this book came out back in the spring, and frankly, I like this series, but I don't like it enough to want to buy it, so I had to wait for a copy from the library to come in, and there was a bajillion holds on it, and it took a while to get into my possession. But it has finally happened, and yes, I am feeling very good that I finally managed to wrap up that loose end of the Violet Ennin Chronicles. I didn't know what to really expect with this book, I really didn't, but I enjoyed it. Not the best thing I've read, but I did enjoy it, and I could not put it down once I started reading it. I was not bored at all, and despite the length, it feels much shorter as you read it. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the spoilery bit. So if you do not wish to be spoiled, I suggest you click away now and come back after you read the book. So, there's a bit of a time gap between the last book and this book. It has been 2 years since Violet has defeated Lilith, Phoenix has died, Lincoln had basically had his soul shattered, but she made a deal with her angelic maker to save his soul, and in return she's off basically being a badass weapon and kicking exile ass. Now she's changed quite a bit in the last 2 years. Since Phoenix kind of gave part of his essence to her, she has some degree of his power. She can move super fast for Grigori, as well as having some control over her emotions and being able to sense others. Which, is useful because her emotions kind of out of whack since she technically died and her and Lincoln's souls were bonded, and when she died and his soul shattered and she came back and fixed things, it kind of threw things off. So she has been using this ability she has gained through Phoenix to kind of shut her emotions down so that she could survive. There are a handful of people who know where she is at any given time. She left America and is trying to stay away from Lincoln and the assembly and academy and everything, and basically be a rogue. And she's met up with a few other rogues, and Josephine actually made contact with her and sometimes sends her on jobs to take care of some exiles that would be too much of a hassle for the academy to deal with. And she's been trying to learn more about her powers because she is one of the very few, if not the first, Grigori with one of the soul for an angelic maker. And through these 2 years, she has had contact with Phoenix, who has been given a second chance in the angel realm as an angel. He's been trying to help her out and all sorts of good stuff. And for the first year and a half since Violet had left the US, Lincoln had been trying to track her down, but then at one point just suddenly stopped. Which she is thankful for because she just wants to be left alone and she feels it's for the best. She can't live or stay with Lincoln knowing that he is going to easily throw his life in danger for her, and she just can't stand the idea of him doing that for her again and leaving her behind. So things have been really wonky with the exiles, and Violet gets word that Spence, one of her Grigori friends, has disappeared, and that his partner had been found unconscious and in a coma, at an airport, and they want her help trying to track him down. And since Spence is a good friend of hers, she automatically agrees, and she goes back to the US. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this huge mess that Spence is all mixed up in, but I really want to just smash Violet and Lincoln's heads together for the longest time once they got back together. It's can you two just freaking shut up and kiss and make up already? Really? Or at least sit down and have a civil conversation? Get all the feelings out and, communicate? It's really not that hard to have a simple conversation. Oh, just... And can I say, I did a little, fangirly squeal when Phoenix exiled himself again to save Violet. So part of me was like screaming in joy because I do like Phoenix. And another part of me was just like, oh god, this is gonna bring up so much freaking drama. Oh my god. Gotta say, this book was pretty actiony. There was always something going on. So I was not bored at all through any of it. And, oh man. Just, oh. And we find out who Violet's angelic maker actually is. We've seen him throughout the books, but now we actually get a name to go with him. Because of course, you know, an angel of the soul is going to be someone important. They are like the highest level in the angelic hierarchy. And part of me was freaking out when we found out who her angelic maker is. Just, oh my god. Just, anyone else who's read this book so far, what did you think of Violet's angelic maker? Was anyone surprised? Did anyone see it coming? And I did like how things were resolved with Phoenix. I thought that was pretty well done. It made sense that Violet would make him human. Because really, he doesn't fit in with the angels. He enjoys being in exile on Earth. But he still has those dark tendencies of a dark exile angel. And really, this just seemed like it was the only thing that could have been done with him. And part of me would be really interested in seeing, like, what happens to Phoenix while he is human. Like, I want to see Phoenix's adventures as he deals with being human after all this drama, and just see if maybe he actually manages to fall in love with someone else besides Violet, and just be able to move on and be happy. Is that too much to ask? That would make me extremely happy. Even just a short story. Just, what did anyone else think about this book? I thought it wrapped things up pretty nicely. Not the best final endings I have read, but it is up there. I feel everything was wrapped up pretty smoothly. Very few, if any, loose ends, and I felt pretty content after reading it. That is it for this book review, and if anyone else has any suggestions for what I should read next, let me know. I'm always open for new suggestions, and yes. Keep on reading, my fellow book addicts. Keep on reading.